Some say records are to be broken, but when it comes to the global supply chains breaking, records come with a very dark side. Only this year, supply chains were plagued by a myriad of disasters. The Suez Canal accident, interruptions caused by extreme weather, and most recently, port shutdowns, driven by the new virus outbreaks in Asian countries. Fresh data released by Resilinc, a global leader in the supply chain risk monitoring space, indicated that supply chain disruptions hit record-breaking levels in 2021, with the number of factory fires up by 150% only in the first half of the year. This marked the highest rate of factory fires ever reported. The shocking increase is mostly attributed to gaps in regulatory and process execution, and also by a shortage of skilled warehouse workers. The data also exposes that disruptions caused by supply shortages skyrocketed by 638% just in the first half of 2021. In total, Resilinc already sent 251 supply shortage alerts this year, with this type of disruption ranked 6th in terms of most reported events. But shortages are the number one reason why business sales have been collapsing in recent months. And according to the report, almost half, or about 46.5% of such disruptive events occurred in the United States in the first 6 months of 2021. From January the 1st to June 30th, 2021, Resilinc issued a staggering 5,425 alerts about supply chain disruptions across 39 event categories, with about 59% of them impactful enough to trigger prolonged interruptions that lasted for at least 4 weeks. Today, in the United States, one of the main problems causing shortages is port congestion. There are still dozens of container ships waiting to undock in California ports. Industry experts say it could take months for the backlog to be cleared, while inland logistics hubs are still crowded with containers that have yet to be loaded onto trucks to get to cargo ships and make their trips to their final destinations. Last week, the financial services giant Citigroup and the Economist Intelligence Unit released a new report describing that most supply chain problems have deep roots and are unlikely to go away soon. Shifts in supply chains already were underway owing to geopolitical and economic factors, and the health crisis has accelerated some of them, says the report. Recent outbreaks of the virus, driven by the Delta variant, mean that we have not seen the last of supply chain disruptions yet, as economic activity across Asia-Pacific continues to be hampered. In addition to all that, a shortage of truck drivers is causing further bottlenecks at ports and inland rail hubs, as some warehouses are being forced to refuse delivery of new containers until the backlogs can be reduced. All of this is severely aggravating the global container shortage, which consequently is pushing shipping prices for almost all trade routes to sky highs. According to Zenita, the average cost of shipping a container from China to the west coast of the United States has gone from $1,794 last year to $11,594 this year. And those numbers represent an official average, but the truth is that new premium prices are negotiated on the spot. Some companies reported shipping rates of up to $33,000 from Shanghai to Los Angeles this year. As a result, companies continue to struggle to ship their products overseas and to get their orders in time. The supply chain disruption is catastrophic across every consumer category, highlighted the Toya Association, that's a trade group for companies that make and sell youth entertainment products, in a recent statement. Companies are suffering shipping price increases of 300 to 700% and a host of outrageous additional fees, and that's if they can even get containers and space on ships. The group also outlined that with the holiday season just around the corner, retailers will experience further shortages and consumers should brace for higher prices all across the board. Not only will shoppers undoubtedly and unfairly see price increases, they may not even be able to find the products they're looking for in the weeks and months ahead, the group said. Most industry executives expect the situation to only get worse in the near term. John Drake, the vice president for supply chain policy at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, revealed that his association is hearing regularly from our members who are facing significant challenges in getting goods and products to their customers on time. A lot of these delays are health crisis related. A shortage of truck drivers and warehousing space, a big shift in U.S. consumers spending money on goods instead of travel and entertainment, and ongoing shutdowns at ports and factories worldwide, among other things. Unfortunately, we expect these delays to continue well into 2022, he added. The imbalances on supply chains are threatening to derail the U.S. economic rebound this quarter, as business activity and production have fallen 6.9 percentage points in August. New export orders dropped by more than 5 percentage points, and new orders faced a sizable decline, according to a report released by the Institute for Supply Management, ISM. One accommodation and food services company told ISM that supply chain disruptions, including manufacturing labor shortages, logistics delays, and lack of material to make products, are significantly disrupting their business. At the moment, hundreds of industries already have reported trouble finding workers and supplies and being able to afford them. Even big names such as Nordstrom and Abercrombie are having trouble restocking their merchandise. Both clothing retailers disclosed on a recent earnings call that it's getting pretty much impossible for the brands they sell to get their merchandise produced and shipped, and as a result, their sales have been hard hit, and their inventories are currently at their lowest levels in decades. Abercrombie also noted that due to a factory upheaval in Vietnam, fueled by the rapid spread of the Delta variant virus, shipping issues are now, quote, out of control, as several plants have been closed to deal with the outbreak. Now that is particularly worrying, considering that Vietnam is the second largest supplier of apparel and shoes for U.S. retailers. If big brands are facing major hardships to get their supplies in time, smaller companies are facing much deeper issues to restock their shelves. For Abercrombie, shipping delays are extending from 1 to 3 weeks on average. For small and medium-sized businesses that are at the end of their shipping list, well, delays can stretch up to 7 months. While well-established brands have started using air cargo to get around some of the container chaos, this, in turn, will create additional expenses, of course, and retailers are gonna pass them on, guess who? To consumers. That's exactly what Wolf Richter has described in a recent article published on his Wall Street website. The expert pointed out that the container crisis is cratering entire industries due to shortages of products and parts. Amongst them, the automotive industry is suffering the most due to the global semiconductor shortage that keeps getting worse and is now expected to only start easing in 2022. It isn't that there aren't any new vehicles out there, but there are not enough of them. Inventories have been depleted in a historic manner, and customers are buying vehicles as soon as they come off the car carrier, or they order them and wait patiently till they arrive. There are now huge storage areas around auto manufacturing plants where automakers store vehicles that are essentially ready to go, but are still missing a component or two, because some chips could not be made, and when those components arrive, they'll be installed, and the vehicles will then be sent to dealers, Richter wrote. General Motors recently announced that it will be closing all of its United States plants due to the shortage, while Toyota said the scarcity of chips has made the company cut down its production by 40%. Moreover, shortages of materials such as plastics are pushing the price of a wide range of products to record highs. This started during the big freeze that hit Texas that disrupted the petrochemical industry along the Gulf Coast. It accounts for nearly 20% of the global ethylene production, and 3/4 of that production along the Gulf Coast was knocked out during the big freeze, explained Richter. By the end of February, all of the production of epichlorohydrin was offline, along with 90% of the production of ethylene glycol, 70% of the production of polypropylene, and 60% of the production of epoxy resins, 40% of the production of propylene, he continued. Most recently, Hurricane Ida added to the manufacturing disruptions faced by the petrochemical industry. The materials produced by it go into pretty much everything. All kinds of consumer goods, from water bottles to automobiles, all kinds of packaging, all kinds of industrial goods, PVC pipes used in new construction, the expert added. All of this is happening at a time when consumer demand is being fueled by government stimulus, not just in the United States, but all around the world. The combination of artificially fueled demand for goods and supply chain problems is causing significant distortions in the global economy, and is creating asset bubbles in the financial markets and threatening to trigger an inflationary spike like no other. The main problem is that as companies have realized that they can charge more for the same products, and consumers have been accepting those increases without a question, they will continue to get away with raising prices even after conditions improve across supply chains. That is how hyperinflation infiltrates global economies, and our future is going to be marked by it. On the other hand, wages won't similarly hyperinflate, will they? Which means we're headed to an era of economic deterioration, while the price of everything continues to explode.